One of the most brutal revenge films ever made was actually based on a true story. Today, we're diving deep into Man on Fire. These 2004 thrillers that had audiences questioning just how far someone would go to protect an innocent child. Man on Fire hit theaters in April 2004 and immediately sparked conversations about vigilante justice, corruption, and the bonds we form with the people we're meant to protect. This wasn't just another action movie. It was a character study wrapped in explosive violence, directed by Tony Scott, who was known for his kinetic visual style in films like Top Gun and Enemy of the State. The screenplay was written by Brian Helgeland, who had previously won an Academy Award for L.A. Confidential. Helgeland adapted the script from a 1980 novel by A.J. Quinnell, though this wasn't the first time the story had been brought to screen. There was actually an earlier 1987 version starring Scott Glenn, but the 2004 adaptation took the material in a completely different direction. What made this version special was the casting of Denzel Washington in the lead role of John Creasy. Washington brought his trademark intensity to a character who starts the film as a broken, alcoholic former CIA operative contemplating suicide. This wasn't the heroic Denzel we were used to seeing. This was a man haunted by his past, struggling with PTSD, and barely holding onto his will to live. The story takes place in Mexico City, where kidnapping has become so common that wealthy families routinely hire bodyguards for their children. Creasy gets recruited for this exact purpose by his old friend Paul Rayburn, played by Christopher Walken in one of his more subdued but equally memorable performances. Rayburn knows that Creasy needs work and purpose, even if Creasy himself doesn't believe he's worth saving. Enter the Ramos family. Samuel Ramos, played by Mark Anthony in his acting debut, is a businessman married to Lisa, portrayed by Radha Mitchell. They have a 9-year-old daughter named Peta, brought to life by Dakota Fanning in what many consider her breakout performance. At just 10 years old during filming, Fanning displayed remarkable emotional range that would carry much of the film's emotional weight. The brilliance of the first act lies in how slowly and naturally the relationship between Creasy and Peta develops. Initially, Creasy wants nothing to do with the chatty, energetic girl. He's there to do a job, nothing more. But Peta's genuine curiosity and innocent persistence gradually break through his emotional walls. She asks him about his scars, practices her English with him, and even convinces him to help her train for swimming competitions. This relationship becomes the emotional core of the entire film. Fanning and Washington's chemistry feels completely authentic, like a real surrogate father-daughter bond forming between two people who desperately need each other. Creasy finds purpose and hope through Peta's unconditional acceptance, while she gains a protector who genuinely cares about her well-being. The turning point comes during what should have been a routine piano lesson pickup. Peta gets kidnapped in broad daylight, and during the chaotic shootout that follows, Creasy takes multiple bullets trying to save her. He nearly dies, spending days in the hospital while the family receives ransom demands from a group calling themselves La Hermandad, or the Brotherhood. Here's where the film takes its darkest turn. The ransom exchange goes horribly wrong, ending with an explosion that apparently kills Peta. The kidnappers claim she's dead, and Creasy receives what appears to be her finger as proof. This moment transforms him from a protective bodyguard into something far more dangerous, a man with nothing left to lose and a very particular set of skills. What follows is one of cinema's most methodical and brutal revenge campaigns. Creasy begins systematically hunting down everyone connected to the kidnapping, using interrogation techniques that make audiences extremely uncomfortable. He's not just seeking information, he's delivering punishment. Each confrontation becomes more intense than the last, with Creasy's methods growing increasingly creative and disturbing. Tony Scott's direction during these sequences is absolutely crucial to their impact. He uses rapid cuts, saturated colors, and handheld cameras to create a sense of chaos and urgency. The violence feels visceral and personal rather than cartoonish or glorified. We're witnessing a man's complete psychological breakdown manifested through systematic vengeance. But the film isn't just about revenge. As Creasy follows the trail higher up the corruption ladder, he discovers that Peta's kidnapping was an inside job. Her own father, Samuel, was involved in the plot, needing money to pay off massive debts. The plan was supposed to be fake, with Peta returned safely after insurance money was collected. Instead, everything spiraled out of control when the real kidnappers took over. Mickey Rourke appears as Jordan Colfax, a sleazy lawyer connected to the kidnapping ring, while Giancarlo Giannini plays Inspector Manzano, a police detective trying to stop Creasy's rampage while secretly helping him navigate Mexico's corrupt law. Each supporting character adds layers to the conspiracy that ultimately reaches the highest levels of Mexican society. The investigation leads Creasy to Daniel Sanchez, the head of La Hermandad, played by Jessis Ochoa. But even Sanchez is just another piece in a larger puzzle involving police corruption, political cover-ups, and a kidnapping industry that preys on Mexico's wealthy families with complete impunity. Now, here's where the ending gets really interesting and emotionally devastating. After seemingly endless violence and revenge, Creasy discovers that Peta is actually still alive. The finger they sent wasn't hers, and she's been held captive this entire time. This revelation changes everything, shifting the film from pure revenge thriller to a race against time to save an innocent life. The final act becomes a negotiation. Creasy agrees to trade himself for Peta's safe return, knowing full well that he won't survive the exchange. He's been fatally wounded during his campaign of vengeance, slowly bleeding out from injuries that would have killed most people hours earlier. But he's determined to complete one last mission, bringing Peta home safely. The actual exchange is heartbreaking. Creasy gets to see Peta one final time, reassuring her that everything will be okay before walking toward certain death. As she's driven away to safety, Creasy succumbs to his injuries in the back of his captor's car, finally finding peace knowing that he saved the one person who gave his life meaning again. The film ends with Peta swimming competitively, having overcome her trauma, with the confidence Creasy helped build in her. It's a bittersweet conclusion that suggests his sacrifice wasn't just about revenge, but about ensuring that innocence and hope could survive in a corrupt world. Man on Fireworks, because it grounds its extreme violence in genuine emotional connection. The revenge isn't just stylized action, it's the natural result of a broken man losing the one thing that made him want to live again. Washington's performance anchors the entire film, making Creasy's transformation from suicidal bodyguard to avenging angel feel completely believable. What do you think? Is Creasy a hero or a vigilante who went too far? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into intense cinema. This film was great and sad. For a father to even make a deal like that using his child is just unfathomable. But the bond between Creasy and Peta was just amazing. It was great as well seeing the two of them team back up later just a few years ago in Equalizer 3. The message in the movie is clear, and the film itself was star-studded and an all-around great watch. Please let me know if you feel this is one of Denzel Washington's best films in the comments, and thank you so much for your support. I'll see you all next movie.